Welcome, everybody. Hope you're good out there. So, just a quick one. We've seen Benjamin Kalu. We know the president visited the southeast last few days. In the last few days, he's actually been in the southeast. He was in Imo State and then moved to Abia State. And while he was in Abia State, Imo State was more on a behalf of activities. I also have a report regarding that. I'm going to bring that up a little later. But while he was in Abia State, the the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, made a case for Igbo about seaports and the demolition of Igbo properties in Lagos. It was profound. He was screaming at the top of his voice, and he touched practically on what the Igbos truly, really wanted at this very moment in time. Not segregating. If you know you are trying to cleanse Lagos State, don't make it targeted, because it does feel like it's targeted. Because some of the names that we've seen are most of the properties that that are being destroyed are owned by Igbos, and because they have Igbo names, they are easily being destroyed. They don't even think about it. They don't talk about or think through compensation. They just go demolishing people's property. So he was apt with his thoughts on the matter on ground. Let's watch this particular space.
I want to thank you as Abians for what you are doing in our state through our governor and what you are doing around the southeast. But I must say, it's about time, Mr. President, that we have another port in the southeast. Southeast are traders. We need a port so that our trading will be enhanced. Mr. President, I also want to say that the destruction, demolition of the houses, of the offices of our brothers in Lagos makes our heart bleed. Mr. President, for some of them who has not gotten the right document, my plea to you is to appeal to the governor of Lagos State to keep accommodating our brothers and please allow them to rectify their document instead of destruction.
So that was Benjamin Kalu making a case for Igbo in the southeast, and aside that, on Igbo who live across the country. All right. I'm also thinking that beyond what he has said, there's also one more thing that is being left out. The president, if the president wants Nnamdi Kano to be released today, before 12 midday, it will happen. Yes. That is how powerful the president is. The president has the overriding power. That is how our constitution is built. The president has that power. If today, the president says, before 12 midday, I want Nnamdi Kanu out to London or out to Australia, he will do it. He has that power. But whether he wants to wield it, whether he wants to use it, is a totally different ballgame altogether. Because we've seen people say things terribly. So what did the other day, just a few days ago, here, called the president a criminal. He's still moving freely. The only thing is that he's been in court lately, going back and forth regarding his ordeal. So I'm wondering on what basis the president so-called whom Nnamdi Kanu even had that altercation, that back and forth with, was even Buhari, and the Buhari himself is no longer even with us. God bless his soul. So why is this still being kept in prison? Why is this still being kept incarcerated? The Abia State governor, also made this a case recently about the fact that he knows that Nnamdi Kanu will be released pretty soon. I don't know the kind of backdoor communication that he's having, because I know Alex Otu is not the kind of guy who wants to just speak or talk anyhow. He talks when he knows that this is happening. He cannot come and say things just to be politically correct or just to please a certain narrative, just to push a certain narrative. He has told the Igbo that give it more time. Nnamdi Kanu will soon be released. And sometimes, I tend to juxtapose it with what Soludo has said. Soludo has been promising, don't worry, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. But at some point, he stopped talking about it. I mean, I'm sure he has his plate full because of the elections that are due in November. That's next month. I mean, it's just around 1 month away to that particular election. And I can imagine the pressure he's on in that state. But beyond that, we also know of the fact that, he has also begged the president. Under Buhari, he went begging the president. The president refused. And I'm sure he has also made that same, engagement with this current president, and they're not giving him that thoughts or that engagement. That okay, fine, let's get this done. It's just crazy that this guy. If anybody told me that Nnamdi Kanu, since Buhari left office, Nnamdi Kanu will be released, if anybody had told me that he will stay there another 3 to 6 months, I would say it's a lie. I would say it's a lie. To think that this current president even fought Nadeko, even fought successive government, even fought Jonathan. He went on the streets. Occupy Nigeria was part of his pet project. Nadeko was in the forefront of the Nadeko struggle. So when you see people who are freedom fighters or people who have championed causes in the past come and take over power and behave the way they behave, you start asking yourself, is it not the same person, or are we? This is the reason why I'm even very, very, very skeptical about Sowore. I like what Sowore is doing, holding government to account, staying put with them, pressing their neck. I like it, but I don't think he would do well or better than those whom he's criticizing. He is exactly what he's criticizing. Sowore is the kind in fact, I think he'll even be worse than Tinubu. If Sowore is given power as the president of this country, he will be worse than Tinubu. Yes, he might be perfect with fighting. Maybe that's where his strength is. The Ganifa kind of fighting, holding government to account, exposing their corruption, using his platform to champion certain cause, creating awareness and making sure that people, know their rights. Perfect. Maybe that is the best he can do, but not leadership position, because he hasn't shown any form of decorum or ideology that shows that he can be better given the leadership position. That is the truth. Let's not carry people who are perfect with exposing corruption and giving them leadership position because they fought people who are in leadership. No. There's a standard. If you know this is your forte, we can elevate you in that stead. If you are an active freedom fighter, we can elevate you to active 2 freedom fighter, or we will elevate you to be on that level. Maybe take you to the African continent. Maybe if they're having issues in Morocco now, you go and lead their protests in Morocco. If they're fighting in Ethiopia, you go and lead their protests in Ethiopia. You are a Pan-Africanist who is helping Nigerian or the African youths to expose corruption in government. That is exactly what I think that Sowore is perfect for. But say you go give him leadership position. No try and more. Like I'm saying this because I've seen over time that those who truly really fought against bad leadership or corruption in government or fought military, they didn't do it because they wanted to, or they're doing it because they were trying to expose corruption. They were doing it because they didn't call them to be part of the pot of soup. They didn't call them to be part of the pot of rice. If President calls Sowore now, come, execute this contract, Sowore will be quiet throughout the duration of that contract, or even you won't hear him again. Maybe practically he might not accept it. Maybe because of the monies he's receiving from MacArthur Foundation, he's still enjoying that money. He's still there. He's still receiving some huge sums of money. So you can't tout him. You can't move him around with by money or with money. So to speak. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Or let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But I just wanted to say clearly that Benjamin was perfect with his thinking or with what he has done. But again, I feel that he should go beyond just that to do something even much more. But again, let me just take some reactions from from a few persons who were also thinking along the same lines about me. So let me just tell you this particular one. This one says Southeast has the closest connection to Atlantic Ocean, 240 kilometers, no seaports. Southeast has the largest river in West Africa, seated in 300 hectares of land, yet no seaport. It is well. This one says you want to reduce their GDP. Okay, I mean it's part of also the thinking from people, because if you create a seaport in the Southeast, it means that ships will not be berthing anymore in Lagos, because most of the people who even use those properties, those things are actually most of the people who import those things are actually Igbos, are businessmen, Igbos who are very high up there when it comes to importation. Now, if you do a seaport, the thing comes directly to Igbo land. So the dues that are supposed to be paid to Lagos and all of it will be gone, will be coming to the Southeast instead of Lagos. So somebody saying that the president might not want to do it because he's Yoruba and Lagos is probably his playground, and he wouldn't want to touch it, because once he does it, a significant amount of monies or revenue that Lagos gets from that will be dropped, will be coming to the Southeast, and they wouldn't want to do it because he is Yoruba. How would you want to go against a Yoruba man's business or a Yoruba man's income? He wouldn't want you to do it. So instead, he would rather keep he would rather make sure that the so-called seaport doesn't work in the Southeast, so that he keeps money. But that is selfish. That is selfish. Tinubu doesn't come off like that kind of person. But who knows? Who knows? It might be one of the reasons why they're not looking to get it done. So that Southeast doesn't have that revenue that is so crave. Benoshi says the way he's even saying himself, you will know he's not serious. This one says, welcome, Mr. Kalu. First time making sense. Pay no attention to to his public plea. He will go behind and take his share, and it ends there. Apparently, this is one of the things that people have blamed Abuja politicians of Igbo extraction about. They say they come out in public and condemn, they come out in public and make statements and scream, but at the end of the day, nothing really happens. But then again, like it or leave it, that he has even said it publicly is even a plus. Previously, we didn't have politicians who could say it publicly. When was the last time you heard Oju Uzo Kalu come out publicly like this and speak to president and say, do this? When? He just says it in molecule of, I don't want to be in the bad book of this president. But this guy is openly blistering. Even if not tomorrow he goes back, at least he has released this information. He has released, this is what we as Igbos are feeling. You know what the issues are. At least you know. Not that people, not people who will not even know, who don't want to know, or who wouldn't even say. That's my point. All right. I wouldn't know if he goes back to go and sell out the Igbos. I wouldn't know. But again, the man I see here, with countenance I see, seems like somebody who is serious, who is speaking through to power, even if he goes behind. But I doubt. I don't know. I mean, I'm not his aide. I don't follow him. At least he has made a point. The world has heard him. And these are things that Igbos are angry about as it stands right now. So that's my position on that matter. But just let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you as always.